I have today Jessy Schram on, and I am so excited. There's two actors who just literally make me smile whenever I see on screen, Cindy Busby and Jessy Schram. So I could not be more excited to finally be talking to you. We've been trying to do this since July. So
Yes.
how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Just gearing up for the season, for the holidays.
Excellent. Well, you obviously have a very busy schedule because, like I say, it was one thing after another going on. So
Yes, I'm happy we could finally make this happen.
yes. All right. So we're going to get started because I know we're limited in time. But way back when you starred in Jane Doe, which was sort of your first Hallmark, right? And actually, it's
Yeah.
fairly early in your whole acting career. At that time, did you have any idea Hallmark was going to play like such a big role in your like career going forward?
Absolutely not. I mean, I think that that's always the hope. You just don't know to what degree or what that looks like. But I moved to LA when I was 18, and I always say, like, I think it was I was supposed to move on a Friday and I had to move on Thursday because I had booked the Jane Doe series. So to come to Los Angeles with a job is so rare, and it was also such a gift. But I played Leah Thompson was the star of the Jane Doe series with William Moses and Joe Penny, and I got to play her daughter. So I was definitely, a supporting character, learning from someone that's just so curious and so lovely. And they were a home for me. I think we filmed that over a period of 2 to 3 years because it was a murder, like it was a mystery series.
Right.
And then I think it was maybe 7 to 10 years later, I got the call to see if I wanted to star in one of those. So it was really neat to go away. It definitely was one of the starts of my career for sure, hands down. And opened me up to so many things. So I got to go away and do other projects, and then to come back and be the lead and have that position was just a whole new experience. And now it was a family when I was younger, and it's definitely a continued family now. So
Well, you also had the distinction of being in one of my all-time favorite regular rom-coms and one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies. So you're like a double dipper here. First,
oh
The Birthday Wish. Love that movie, that alternative life thing. While Hallmark's done
yeah.
it a bunch of times, it is just the standard bearer with you and Luke. What was that one like being in that? 'Cause that was what I think your second, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that was my second movie. I loved it. I mean, Peter DeLuise was the director for both Harvest Moon, which was my first movie, and Birthday Wish, and I absolutely adored Luke. I loved how much comedy was in it, and I loved how sincere it was. And I was a little nervous signing on when I had seen the magical element, and I remember talking to Peter, being like, "Okay, so how are we planning to do this? How does this come in?" And that's one of my favorite movies still, even though it was so early on and I was still just trying to find my footing of what am I doing as an actor here, and how I prepare for things and what I do. But it's definitely one of my favorite movies still that I've gotten to do for them. I loved the script. Like everything was just really fun. It was a
It
fun
is.
movie.
And when you kind of touched on it, one of the things about you that I enjoy so much is that while you do the whole roles and the romance and all the stuff, you have that like comedic timing that's more, I think, more subtle than a lot. Like I don't put you out there being like crazy, but you just know how to nail those like little lines. And we'll talk about sweet romance. And once again, not a lot. I can't say it's comedy, but you just nail those good, fun moments.
Oh, thank you.
Well, the other movie I'm not quite sure has as much of the fun, but it is just one like literally made me cry. I just watched it again like 2 weeks ago, but that's The Road to Christmas. That
Oh,
movie is just like awesome. Just sort of the whole thing as it progresses and goes through. And I was just talking about it, and while you are the lead in it, Terrell Rothery is like, in my opinion, not to knock you, but like
yeah.
just the glue that just holds that movie together. What was that set and that one like for you?
That was fun. I mean, anytime you get into a road trip element, those are some of my favorite movies. So I'm glad we got to do a version of the road trip. But Terrell, she played my boss while also Chad Michael Murray's mom. So she was definitely a glue that was the reason that we were together. And then we went on the road trip to pick up all his brothers. So, it was very much a family ensemble, really well written piece that all had one purpose with it. But I loved filming that. I thought that, I mean, Chad Michael Murray knows how to do, the sparkle in his eye like nobody's business, while also really grounding things as well. And I thought that all the actors that we had in that movie just brought so much warmth and so much genuineness with their characters that, it made it made the glue feel like a whole gingerbread house. We were all just there together. And I don't know, I thought it was really charming and heartfelt. That was a very heartfelt movie.
It definitely was. Like I said, I was watching it, I was enjoying it, and I didn't, the ending, I don't know, is this me or whatever, but it got like emotional because I usually don't, like it may sound like it, but I usually don't cry at Hallmark movies as much as whatever. But that one at the end, when there
Oh,
was
this
like the
made
whole
me so
family came
happy.
together and that
It was
moment
it was
was
a real
like,
journey. And I feel like that movie definitely had the payoff of, we were going to do that one special. It was really well written. It was written by Zach Hugg. And he, I feel like, really took us on that journey. And like I said, getting to know all the characters and everyone kind of being the glue there, it really had a payoff. We had our little ukulele song. Like it was really lovely. It felt like a family.
well, we talked about a little bit before. You also sing in addition to acting. So this is probably why it was, excuse me, took so long to talk to you, is you clearly have a very busy life going on and stuff. So if I were to like strand you on this deserted island, the only way you could get off is you have your life, if you're either going to be a singer or an actor, and that's the only way you can get off. Which one are you going to choose? And you only can do one for the rest of your life.
Oh, for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
not like
great
you're singing a
question.
song to get off the island. No, we're talking commitment here.
Right, man. Well, okay, so here's the thing. If I couldn't do one at all, and I'm purely saying this because I think if you were to ask any of my castmates, I am constantly singing and constantly like that's my endurance. I'm always moving, I'm always singing random songs. So I feel like music is just a part of me in a different way. And that would be more soothing to get to do for the rest of my life as opposed to stepping into other bodies all the time and other
Okay.
stories. Yeah.
Well, as I said, as I was driving home to come talk to you, I put on my little Jessy Schram playlist on Spotify, and I have to ask, what artists like really inspire you as a singer? Because I've got my one that I picked, but I'm curious for you who
Oh, I'm
really.
curious who you're gonna say. Oh gosh, I always say when I was younger, a lot of my influences, like my main influence when I was much younger was Jewel. She just kind
That's
of
what I was
was.
going to say.
She was a soul influence for so long. Her poetry, her voice, her songwriting, the style, like folk, I absolutely adore. I also listened to a lot of Whitney Houston and Olivia Newton-John because those were the only records that I had. The Bodyguard soundtrack, by the way. But so that was like my main cassette tape, and then the only record that I had was the Go-Go Girls and Olivia Newton-John for some reason. So I feel like there was always this very kind of simple way of singing with soul in it as well. So I would say though definitely one of my main influences that I feel like I still will touch back on now because now so many people um, have a touch in the style that I want to do or what I like doing. But Jewel was definitely the main influence for my songwriting and singing.
Yeah, you just, like I say, it just had that very strong songwriter vibe,
Mm-hmm.
folky thing to it, which is fantastic. I
Thank
liked
you.
it. And as we said, your one of your previous movies is actually like a Spotify soundtrack. So,
Yes.
uh, country act. So here we're gonna put you in another game. Now you're off the island and everything like that. But
Okay.
it's a little Hallmark spin. It's called Kiss, Compete, Repeat. The other one we can't quite play on here. So this one you're going to choose which of your co-stars you want to kiss again, who you'd want to compete against in a gift wrapping contest, and who you'd choose to star in a series with. All right. So,
Oh,
all
okay.
right. You've got Luke Macfarlane,
Okay. Oh, I
Sam
have
Page,
choices. Okay.
and Chandler Massey.
Okay. Ooh, okay. So Kiss, I mean, I was gonna pick Patty Murin. So taking her out of the mix, her is my best friend in the film. I feel like our love relationship as best friends in Mystic was my favorite. Let's see. I'll
You
go
didn't choose
with
was it a seal, right? Or is it a
yeah, there's
walrus?
a seal. You know what? Let's go yes, Luke Macfarlane for Kiss. Who are my other choices for wrapping
Sam
things with?
Page and Chandler Massey.
Oh, let's wrap with Chandler. Let's wrap with Chandler, and then a series. Let's go Sam Page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, I was gonna say, going back to the birthday wish is like also for being early in your career, Luke Macfarlane. I mean, to get him to be your co-star, who I
He's
mean,
he's so great. He's such a lovely human being. He's also like the most gorgeous human being as
right.
well. But he was so lovely. And yeah, just such a lovely soul and such a lovely person.
One of the costume designers I know was talking about how she did a movie. She's like, "Oh my God, I was just in love with. He is like 10 times more beautiful in person than he is even in his movies
Oh,
and
he's
everything." So,
stunning. He's so tall. Like he's like just yeah, walking figurine. He's so beautiful.
okay. All right. Well, we're going to talk about Sweet Romance because that's what's coming out. And
Okay.
I got to see a screener of it, and it is a really cute movie. It's a lot of fun. So I'm sure you had a blast filming it.
Yes.
But your other gig is you got the Chicago Med going on where you're a doctor, right?
Hmm.
So is it a little bit easier, a little more fun when you're like trying to prep for the movie and you're like, okay, now how am I going to, kiss Dominic versus learning all this medical jargon that you got to rattle off and everything?
To be honest, sometimes, and maybe it's just because well, actually, I've been doing these movies in Chicago Med both, a long time. So I guess that there's some muscle memory with both of them. But I would say sometimes the lightheartedness or making those romance moments and those things happen are harder than learning the medical jargon. You were talking about timing earlier with jokes or different things of that sort. And I feel like sometimes keeping the energy high and keeping everything in a space where there's still wonder and magic, at least for myself, can be harder than going into the doom and gloom. But I guess that just says a lot more about me and what I go to. And keeping the optimism to me can be more energy than keeping more of a straightforward life or death kind of situation vibe. So I think that both of them are fun for preparing, but one is the challenge of life and death, and then one is how do you make the magic happen? So they're two different challenges that I wouldn't say one is more fun than the other, but it's really fun to get to step outside of the other and explore more. So I get the best of both worlds.
Excellent. So when I first, before I got to see the movie, and I saw the pictures, there's that dress. And
Yeah.
that dress is going to literally break the internet. It phenomenal. You look amazing in it.
Thank you.
So when you were picking that, and I'm guessing that's a little more fun to wear than the scrubs. But when you were getting that dress, did you have like options, and that's the one you settled on, or did they just come out and say this is it, and it was just
No,
devastating?
actually, I've never really done this before, but I had Charles Art, he's a fantastic costume designer, and this movie went really quick. I had gotten the offer maybe 2 or 3 days before I was on the plane. You have one day to do your fitting, and then you start on Monday. So when we had spoken about the character, I said I really want to play into the character of her. I want to play into that she's a writer and that she's more inside of this world. And when the script was there, it was very apparent to me, one, her mentor, it's kind of like the pretty woman moment. The hotel
Right.
is dressing Julia Roberts. So it was very, very important to me that we had the juxtapose from this was not in Sabrina's luggage. These moments where she's stepping out of her comfort zone or she's supposed to be part of this grand world. And there were some options, but we had actually run into the hiccup of, there were certain things going on in the environment at the time. It was a certain time of year in Winnipeg. Like we had some options which were fine, but none of them were really hitting the mark. And we had to do this scene soon. And so I know of this brand, Katie May. My husband had shot their brand recently, and I was like, you know what? I think that we can get the dress. I think that we can have our Julia Roberts moment. Like, I think that we can have this dress coming in. And so that was a special request that we needed to get approved by Hallmark, and clearly they approved it. But the wardrobe in this movie was something that was really fun because they were very intentional decisions of what we were doing. You know, there's a sequin there's a sequin dress that happens when there's a joke that's happening. Unless she's super overdressed, him wearing a tuxedo isn't going to work the next one. So it was a great opportunity to take what was on the page and really make it work with the wardrobe and the set deck and everything. So that dress was a special request by me. It's the first one I've ever made, and I'm so happy to hear that it paid off.
Oh
So
yeah, like I say, even in the movie, it's 10 times better than the picture.
mhm.
So you're talking about now, were you around at all? Did you get to see any of Lauren Cochran's stuff that she was filming?
Yeah, well,
With
so
you're talking
in
about costumes. Like she's
yes, well,
awesome.
in the flashback, so that's the other thing too. You know, our costume designer needed basically in 5 days to create not just we 14 looks for each of us, but then also period pieces. And I thought he did such a beautiful job with these period pieces. And Jeff Beasley, our director, did, and our DP did such a beautiful job transitioning us into it. But I got to watch all of the period pieces because this movie plays out where my character and her mentor, played by Al, we get to watch it happen. And it's, you know, you're having the conversation and you're kind of watching it, and then it comes back to you. So it was all real time. I was
Okay.
there for everybody's filming.
Okay. Excellent. Well, you just talked about it with Jeff Beasley. How is his set different than, like I say, you've been in a handful of the other
Yeah.
Hallmarks. So how is his set different than, like, say, Alan Harmon? He did obviously another one of your movies, or just in general, Dom DeLuise,
Yeah.
like any of those guys. Like, how is his different?
He's he's completely different in so many ways. His comedy and his ability to go with the improvisation and to find different moments in character and tie them in and edit that so well is really special. His sets, you know, what I loved, I got to talk to him before signing on because it was such a quick turnaround that I was like, man, am I going to be able to do this? I literally just finished filming for 10 months. Am I ready to get on a plane and learn this overnight? And so I had talked to Jeff, and he really, you know, besides wanting to do this, he really sold me in his passion. He's such a passionate director and such a passionate person. And he really has very specific visions, and he moves very efficiently. And that's really appreciated. But while he moves efficiently, I still feel like he keeps the heart of things, because as a director or producer, you can move fast, but you can also miss while you're there filming. You can miss the story. And I feel like Jeff really appreciates what each actor and what department bring to the set, and everybody works together. But he has a lot of fun ideas, and his sets are, there's a lot of laughter on Jeff Beasley sets, and it's also extremely efficient. So having those two go hand in hand is a really great way to film.
What did you like most about playing Sabrina?
I love that she got to fall into the magic. I love that she got to be a woman that has opportunities and is deliberating on things, but that she didn't lose the essence of whimsy. I feel like she got to stay romantic, and that was really fun to get to step into. Is just really be in the romance of it and go with the flow.
The Now Dominic is a guy who not a lot of Hallmark fans maybe he was in the movie before, but may not be super familiar with him. Why should all of us Hallmark fans just love Dom?
Dom is the definition of charming. I mean, talk about somebody that knows how to give the gaze and move moments forward and really create environments and feelings. Dom is really fantastic. He brought so much to this movie and so much to the chemistry of what we were doing. He cares a lot, and he's also a fantastic collaborator. So I would say that audience would love him. I mean, he's so easy on the eyes, but he's also just very real, but knows how to move a story forward. And he's very grounded while also having fantastic comedy chops, while still being able to be romantic. He's got it all. So I think Hallmark fans are going to fall even more in love with him than they have in the past.
One of the obviously the ongoing things of the movie is the unmentioned the whole plot of the story, right? Where you think you know, but you don't know. That's one of the things I love, by the way, is your guys' nonverbal, where you're like looking and giving the eye, like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And he sort of accepts it, but it's like obviously you can't, that's not in the script, right? But
Right.
that's the directing, or is that what you guys just brought in? Like, okay, this is how I see this happening.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is the stage direction, but to be honest, I usually cross stage direction out after the first time I read it because if it's describing a feeling or an emotion, that's a lot of pressure to get to. You know, it's like on this line, they take a breath and cry from their left eye. It's like, well, let's just, I get the tone. Let's cross that out and hope that we can get there. But it just takes the pressure away. But with those moments, some of that was, Jeff making sure, like, hey, Jessy, what about we play this here? Or, hey, me thinking 4 scenes from now, we need to get to this place. I need to start planting the seeds now. Or like Dom saying, hey, we don't have a dance number. Let's make sure that this goes here. So it was definitely a lot of collaboration, but sometimes that's in the script and it's very obvious. And other points where having to remind yourself, like, we're not saying this completely, but in order for these next 2 scenes to make sense or the payoff to happen in the end, we have to start playing it early on. So that was really great with Jeff and with Dom and everybody involved, is we really got to have conversations. It was very much a collaboration on this movie. Chaotic and a good collaboration.
Okay. Well, why don't you just take a minute and tell all the fans why this is one of the movies that they just have to watch this season?
Oh, this is a movie you have to watch this season because it takes you into romance. We have 3 love stories that ebb and flow with the other in learning lessons, in being present, going to the past. It's very beautiful within the friendships, and it's incredibly real and funny in a lot of different ways. I would say when I read this script, I blushed a lot because there were a lot of different moments that were written that just felt like so much fun banter, and I could see what would happen. And I feel like because of the chemistry that Dom and I got to create, but also our ensemble cast who are just so talented, there's so much fun and there's so much connection in this movie, and it's so well rounded that I think that people are really going to enjoy it in a way that maybe they haven't before.
Awesome. I love it.
Mhm.
Well, you were not in a Hallmark movie last year, and you
Correct.
are in one this year. So all I have to say, my holiday wish this year is that you don't take another 2-year hiatus or longer, certainly not longer. And you just sort of make sure you make the time for it to be an annual occurrence.
Yes,
Well,
that's as long as they keep coming, I'll keep doing. So,
excellent. Well, Jesse, it was absolutely amazing talking to you.
you,
And like I said, I saw it, I loved it. It's a great movie. It's super, super cute. So thank you.
awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.